Like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Mr. Mind Average.
You have raised a very significant question. All the religions that have existed on the earth have been very unaesthetic because they denied life, they denied all the beauties, all the flowers, all creativity, sensitivity. They killed millions of people's possibility of attaining to enlightenment through aesthetic creativity. They simply closed the door. And for centuries, nobody has even asked the question that is it possible that just to be a musician is enough to become enlightened? I say yes. Nobody will agree with me, neither Mahavira, nor Gautam Buddha, nor Muhammad, nor Jesus. Knowing it well that the whole history will stand against me, I am absolutely certain that music can become meditation, that sculpture can become meditation, that dancing can become meditation, that painting can become meditation. Simply, these doors have been closed. It is one of the greatest crimes committed against man. And people who are uncreative are praised as saints. All that they have done may be fasting, but being hungry is not a great quality. And it does not enhance humanity in any way. They may have lived naked, but that does not mean they are making life more beautiful. Most of these naked saints are so ugly that it would have been better they should be praised if they stop being naked. But their nakedness has been praised. It is thought to be a great discipline. Sometimes stupid ideas carried for long almost start looking like ultimate truths. All the animals are naked. I don't see any saintliness in being naked. I'm not saying that to be naked is criminal. I'm simply saying that if the time is right and the climate is beautiful and you have a body worth seeing, first stand naked before the mirror. Before you disturb other people's but on a sea beach, of course, you can be naked. In a good climate, in the home, you can be naked. But there is nothing saintliness in it. It is simply natural. Every animal, every bird is naked, except few dogs in the Middle Ages in England, where morality became hilarious. Even dogs were covered with clothes. This was thought to be very Christian. You will not believe even the legs of the chairs and tables were covered because they are called legs, and legs should not be left naked. Except those few idiots the whole world of the animals has remained natural. For man, perhaps it is now difficult to be naked in all the seasons. His body is no more capable, is no more so strong as it was in the primitive man who lived naked. In thousands of years, we have protected our body. But remember, whenever anything is protected, it becomes weaker. The more you protect, the more weaker it becomes. A primitive man in the jungles of India still lives naked in the winter, in the rain, in the hot sun, but he has the stamina and he has the body. But he is not a saint. He is simply uncultured, uneducated, uncivilized, primitive. There is nothing that can be said in praise of him. But religions have been preaching to people very uncreative disciplines. Sometimes so funny that even to believe that thousands of people live under those beliefs seems impossible. In India, Jainism is a religion whose monks step by step finally become naked in 5 stages of discipline. The last stage of their discipline is to be naked. Because of this stage, Jainism has to deny women direct entry into their paradise. First, they will have to become men, because they cannot attain to the final stage of discipline of nakedness. And the people who became naked in 25 centuries continuously, thousands of people have become naked, have not contributed anything to the world, have not painted, have not written poetry. In fact, these are mundane affairs, worldly things which they have renounced. And in every way, their disciplines have made them ugly. For example, the Jaina monk eats standing. Now, if you eat standing, soon you will have a big belly. Your chest will sink and your belly will become bigger. You will be pregnant without pregnancy. They have to eat food in their cupped hands because they cannot use any kind of instruments. What nonsense! To use a plate is not great technology. But they are praised because they are using only their hands. And that creates many problems. They cannot use a razor blade to shave their beards or their hair. And the problem becomes more complicated because they are not allowed to have bath at all. Even their discipline does not allow them to have a mouthwash. They don't brush their teeth because the brush is great technology, and toothpaste is certainly manufactured in great factories. They have disowned the whole world. How can they use a brush? And why they should use? Their logic is worth understanding because that will explain many other things in other religions. They are the extreme, and the extreme is always good to understand because things have come to the very climax where even the blind man can see that this is stupid. They have to pull their hairs every year by their own hands. And that is celebrated as a great religious ceremony. Thousands gather to see the naked monk pulling his hair. He cannot use a razor blade. The razor blade belongs to the materialist world. And it is worth seeing the scene when a Jaina monk pulls his hair and thousands of Jainas gather and women are crying. Few have fainted. The great saint is going through so much suffering. Who has told him to go through so much suffering? Anybody can give him a free save. Now he has imposed upon himself a stupid thing, and people are praising him for his great disciplined life. This is not discipline. This is self-torture. And the reason is that he is not the body. So why he should take a bath? Now the body without you cannot take the bath, that is certain. The body without you cannot have a good mouthwash. And the reasoning goes that people try to decorate their body. Your brushing the teeth, you may have never thought, is condemned by the Jainas because it is beautifying your body, which is really part of your sexuality. Having a bath, having a beautiful body, a good hair style is certainly indicative that you are interested in the bodies. If you are interested in your own body, you are certainly interested in other people's bodies also. And a man who has renounced the material world has also renounced his own body. In fact, these people are not saints, looked without any prejudice. They are psychologically sick masochists who enjoy in torturing themselves. There are many in mad asylums, but people don't know that they are Jena saints. You are unnecessarily putting them into a madhouse. They torture themselves and they enjoy it. There are two pathological categories. One is of masochists who enjoy to be tortured, and the other is the sadists who enjoy torturing others. And it is said that the only perfect marriage is between a sadist and a masochist. Certainly it will be a perfect. The husband beats and the wife enjoys. And the husband enjoys because he is beating. Or vice versa. I used to be a student of a professor whose every lecture started with the description how he has been misbehaved, mistreated by his wife that morning. One day I heard it, next day I heard it, third day I had to stand up. I said, this is too much. I can say from the symptoms, you are a masochist. He said, what do you mean? I said, I mean you enjoy being tortured. Otherwise, what is the point? Here you teach economics. What relationship it has with your wife? And before standing up, I have inquired everything. I have been to your wife too, because I never question anything without proper homework. his wife was really dangerous. One who has chosen her, and it was a love marriage. She was bigger than the professor, stronger than the professor, uglier than the professor, in every way ahead of him. And I inquired the neighborhood people. They said it is a strange couple. The wife beats the professor. I said it is not news to me, because the professor himself every day begins his lecture. Half of the lecture is about how he has been mistreated, misbehaved by his wife. He is not hiding it. And I have seen when he relates the joy on his face. Both need to be in psychiatric hospitals. But the neighbor said, whatever you may say, they are both happy. I said, that's true. That's the perfect marriage. The wife is perfectly happy. She beats the husband, tortures him in every way. Even with doors open, neighbors are looking in, and she is sitting on the chest of her husband. I have never come across against such a perfect couple, and it is a love marriage. And I don't think that even before they got married, things would have been different. In fact, this relationship of torture has brought them together. My understanding is that the people who are weeping and crying when a Jaina monk is pulling his hair, he is a masochist, and the crowd is of the sadists. They are also enjoying. Those tears are not to mislead you. They have come from long distances to see just a madman pulling his hair. But what is spiritual in it? And because I started asking my parents, what is spiritual in it? A man may be naked. It is nobody's business. Let him be naked. If he pulls his hair, perhaps he enjoys the exercise. Let him enjoy. Just take care that he does not start pulling other people's hair. And that's what the Jaina saint is doing. He is pulling his hair, and he is teaching others to be initiated. So finally they will have to pull their hair. A very indirect way, but in fact he is torturing himself and teaching others that torture yourself. Without torturing your body, how you can attain to the spiritual? The division between the body and the spirit has destroyed all religions. Rather than becoming a blessing to the world, they proved to be a great calamity. I teach an aesthetic consciousness. You should learn to appreciate beauty. You should learn to create beauty. You should behave in a beautiful way. Your life should be a long story of beauty, grace, love, peace. And whatever you are doing, there is no need to renounce the world. There is nowhere to go. This is our world. We have to make it more beautiful, more graceful, more lovable. And this is possible whatever you are doing. Do it meditatively. There have been mystics like Kabir, who was a weaver. He remained a weaver, although he had kings as his followers, thousands of followers, and he was a poor man. Very few poor people have attained to that grace and radiance as Kabir. And they all, his disciples, prayed that you stop weaving. You don't have to. We are all here to support anything you need. Kabir said, but my meditation and my weaving are grown so together that neither I can meditate without weaving, nor I can weave without meditation. So please don't disturb me. Just let me do whatever I have been doing. Another mystic was Gora. He was a potter, and he continued to remain making beautiful pottery. After his realization, his pottery also became of a different quality. Something of his beauty became part of what he was making. His disciples said, stop, we feel ashamed. People say you go to a potter. In India, a potter is counted to be untouchable, and you touch the feet of that man, but still thousands of people became illumined by Gora's experience, and he remained a part to the very end. Whatever you are doing, my approach is make your doing your meditation. Don't think in terms that you have to leave something and then you will meditate. Those are tricks of the mind of postponing, and you will end up into some ugly situation. To me, religion can only be aesthetic and nothing else. A religious man will be in every way graceful. His very being will be surrounded by an aura of beauty. His words will be poetry itself. His silences will touch your heart. His very being will become a dance and celebration for you. What he does is not the question. What he is the question. Whether he is a potter or a weaver or a shoemaker, there was a shoemaker also who was a mystic, Radas. If a shoemaker can be as realized as a Gautam Buddha, then there is no need to go anywhere. Just be wherever you are. Create more beauty, create more grace in your life, in your actions. Everything should be a prayer, a gratitude to existence. Then a totally different kind of religion will prevail in the world, and which will be bringing great treasures to the world. Up to now, all the religions have been escapist, escape from the world. I teach you to remain in the world. Just remember, don't be worldly. There is no need to renounce the world. Just don't let the world enter into your consciousness. You can sit in the Himalayas and still go on thinking about Sophia Loren. Himalayas cannot prevent. Once a man came to Ramakrishna with 10,000 golden pieces. At that time, the rupee was pure gold. The very word rupee is from Sanskrit. It means gold. He came with 10,000 gold pieces in a big bag and told Ramakrishna that I have been collecting and waiting. When they become 10,000, I am going to offer them to you. Ramakrishna said, but I don't have any place to keep them. And anyway, I don't think I need them. But I cannot refuse you either. Do one thing. Just behind Ramakrishna's temple was flowing the beautiful Ganges. He said to the man, go and throw the whole load in the Ganges. Now Ramakrishna is saying, and in the first place he has offered the rupees to the Ramakrishna, they belong to him. And he is saying, so very reluctantly he went. His heart was sinking. His whole life he has been collecting those rupees. And that fellow seems to be absolutely insane. What Ganges will do then? If he does not need, he could have told me so. I could have taken them back. If he does not need, Ganges does not need either. But what to do? How to argue with the man? That man is mad. One hour passed. Ramakrishna inquired what happened. That man has not returned. Somebody was sent, and he informed that that man is doing a great job. He has created a big crowd. Many are swimming in the Ganges. Many are standing on the bank. He takes 1 rupee at a time, shows to the whole crowd that it is pure gold by throwing it on a stone. The sound of the gold, and then he throws it into the Ganges. So it is taking very long process, 10,000 rupees, and the crowd is gathering, and those who can swim, those who can catch up the thrown rupees, they are enjoying. Ramakrishna said, this is strange. I had told him, throw the whole lot. He himself went to see. It was really a great festival there. And Ramakrishna tapped the man on the shoulder and said, what are you doing? He said, nothing, just I check whether the gold is real or not. And then I count 339. 340, 341, Ramakrishna says, "You idiot, when somebody is collecting money, certainly he checks whether it is real gold or not, and he also counts. But when you are throwing, why bother? Just throw the whole bag in one go." He had to do that, but very sadly. He was enjoying his life's greatest moment because so many people was appreciating him that this is great renunciation, throwing away wealth. All the religions have been teaching throw away wealth. And then all around the world, millions of people are starving, dying in poverty. No religion has taught create wealth. Wealth is not something that comes from the sky. It has to be created. Everybody is not a Henry Ford. It needs intelligence. It needs inventiveness. It needs many qualities. Only then man can create wealth. If all the religions have taught to the people create wealth, and we will respect the wealthiest as the saint, the world would have not been poor. There is no reason for the world to be poor. Even today, although the population has gone to 5 billion, the scientists say that if we put all our intelligence and scientific and technological understanding together, we can make not only 5 billion people healthy, wealthy, comfortable, we can make 25 billion people perfectly happy living on this earth. But all the religions were teaching poverty. Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor." And everybody knows who is blessed. But these consoling lies have helped the poor to remain poor. Jesus says that those who are rich, they don't have any hope. Even a camel can pass through the eye of a needle, but not a rich man through the gates of God. Now, if this kind of teaching has been rampant all over the world, you see the ultimate result. Thousands of people are dying every day just because there is not enough food. Just by the end of this century, only in India, 500 million people will die if situation remains the same, and there seems to be no possibility that this situation will change. India does not produce food, it only produces children. It is a very productive land. When it became independent in 1947, its population was only 400 million. Today, its population is 900 million. Just in 40 years, 500 million people have increased, and within coming 10 years, India will pass beyond 1 million number. For the first time, India will be the leading nation in the world as far as poverty, hunger, starvation, population is concerned. Up to now, China has been the leader, but in the coming 10 years, China is going to lose its permanent position. It has been the leading nation up to now. No more. A man was saying to his wife that in this newspaper is some report about population. It says in every 5 men, in every 5 children born on the earth, one is a Chinese. This will not be the case after 10 years. In every 5 children born on the earth, one will be the Indian. The wife was very much worried. She said, "My God, I'm pregnant and this is my 5th children. And I don't want a Chinese in the house." Religions have been teaching wrong values. Man would have been in a totally different position. They have not taught how to live in tune with nature, in tune with ecology, They have not taught how to live with each other without continuous killing, massacre, rape. In 3,000 years, there have been 5,000 wars, as if man's only profession is to fight. For whom you are fighting? If religions has taught instead of being destructive, be creative. Rather than renouncing the world, renounce the nation, renounce the race, renounce all discriminations between black and white, renounce all limitations, boundaries that divide humanity. It is one humanity, and this planet is our home. And we are all responsible to make it more beautiful, more livable. But they were teaching, renounce this world, escape from this world. And where these people will escape? They don't escape anywhere. They live simply here. They become parasites. Now there are thousands of monasteries in China, in Japan, in India, in Europe. In these monasteries, there are thousands of monks who feeds them. They don't create anything. All that they have created in the whole history is the disease AIDS, nothing else. That is the only positive contribution. Homosexuality, sodomy, but their highest point is the disease AIDS. And they had renounced the world, then why they go on sitting on our necks? They should go and jump into the ocean. They have renounced the world. We can say them goodbye. But they live here. They torture us. And they go on preaching all those ugly teachings which have made this earth so suicidal, so meaningless, so utterly poor in every dimension of life. My basic interest is in bringing religiousness to the life, to the marketplace, and to destroy the antagonism that has been created by all the religions between religiousness and the world. There is no antagonism. Religiousness is a beautiful flower. It can blossom in the marketplace. There is no problem. Because religiousness can be reduced to a simple principle of meditation. There is no need of any other discipline. Just as you deepen your meditation, your awareness becomes more and more crystal clear. Your life starts becoming more moral, not according to any scripture, because they are old and dead, and the situation in which they were written do not exist anymore. A moral person, according to me, is one who is capable of responding to the real situation directly, not according to any principle. I am reminded of a Chinese story. There was a fair, and in old China, the water wells, were not protected by walls around them. They were open holes. In the night, in darkness, you can fall into a water well. A man has fallen into a water well, but it was a fair, so much noise, so many people who would hear he was shouting with his whole energy, "Help, I'm dying." Just by chance, a Buddhist monk passing by hears the man, looks down the well, and the man says, "Thank God, you have heard. Otherwise, in this fair, people are so mad. All kinds of noises are going on, music, dance, singing. Who is going to listen to me?" The Buddhist monk said, "Don't be worried. I will listen to you." He said, "It is not a question of listening. You have to take me out of the well." The Buddhist monk said, "That I cannot do. Because according to my scripture, everybody has to suffer his own evil acts done in past life. You must have done evil acts. Suffer silently. Be peaceful, so that in the next life you don't have to suffer. Take care of the next life. What has happened has happened." That man said, "I am still alive. All has not happened. I am young, my wife is there, my children are there, and you are saying all that has happened has happened. Do something." He said, I cannot go against my scripture. And he went away, followed by a Confucian monk. The monk said, Confucius was right. The man said, I agree, but first get me out. He said, that will happen, but it will take time. A great revolution is needed. He said, but by that time, what revolution are you talking about? He said, Confucius has written that every well should have a protective wall. I will go all over the country for your sake, for your children's sake, that every wall should be protected with a wall. The man said, but what about me? He said, as far as you, I cannot do anything. Nobody listened to Confucius. What can I do? But for your children, certainly nobody will fall. The man said, this is a strange place. A living man is dying, and these idiots are talking about great revolutions. And then came a Christian with a bag, with a rope, with a bucket, and he immediately threw the rope in and the bucket and told the man, sit in the bucket and I will pull you out. Don't be worried. The man said, this seems to be the only real religion. All those are very cunning people talking about scriptures. He said to the Christian missionary that your religion is the only true religion. But by the way, I want to ask why you were carrying a rope, a bucket, because the missionary said, I'm always on the safer side. Who knows, somebody may have fallen. And this is the only way I can enter into paradise. I'm going to oppose that Confucian monk who is trying to make walls around every well. Then nobody will fall. And if nobody falls, there is no need of saviors. The door of paradise will be closed. The man understood for the first time that he is not being saved. The man is making his own account, bank balance in paradise. All these scriptures, all these religions, all these moralities may have useful, may have been useful in certain circumstances. But life goes on changing. Every moment is new. So there are two ways of receiving the new moment that is knocking on your door. One is reaction. Reaction comes from your principles, scriptures, knowledge, your church, and response. Response comes from your awareness. Except response, there is no morality. Without response, whatever you do is going to lead you into some stupidity. You see, in Pune, there are so many non-vegetarian mosquitoes. I have not heard of any species of mosquitoes which are non-vegetarian. You may not believe that in Calcutta, the rich non-vegetarians have many carts in their gardens. Anybody who is ready to lie down on those naked whole night is paid. Even it happens today because they are so compassionate about the mosquitoes. Because what will happen to the mosquitoes? Their scriptures say, save people, help people. They are saving people, helping people. Those people are the mosquitoes. And just giving 5 rupees to a man, he suffers whole night, but it is worth 5 rupees. He will fight with the mosquitoes, but he will remain on the cart. And the people who are paying are doing a virtuous act of paying the hungry. Now, this net around the Buddha auditorium is very much against the scriptures because it is preventing the hungry. It is very immoral. So much good food and hungry people all around, but barriers. That's why people are against me. That I teach against scriptures. Now, few religious things. You force me to talk about irreligion. But I don't forget the real religious things. A young Arab returns to his tent late one night, very hungry. He lights the candle and starts to look through his bag for some food until he finds 4 dates. Taking out his knife, he cuts open a date to find it full of worms. He cuts open a second date, but it too has worms. The third date also has worms. He sighs deeply, blows out the candle, and eats the last date. A Canadian farmer is chopping wood to store it for the winter. When an old Indian comes out of the forest and says, "Cold winter this year." Hearing this, the farmer decides to chop more wood than usual the following day. He is still chopping when the old Indian appears again and says, "Very cold winter this year." So the farmer keeps chopping late into the night. The following day he is at it again, and by now he has a huge pile of wood when the old Indian comes by and says, "Very, very cold winter this year." The farmer stops chopping and says, "Hey chief, how do you know that?" "Well," says the Indian, "in my tribe we have a maxim which says cold weather comes to the neighborhood when you see the white man chopping wood." Moise Finkelstein gets a nasty letter from the tax office and he has to go for an interview. He phones his son Fagin, the lawyer, for some advice, and Fagin suggests that he wears old clothes so that he does not look too prosperous. On the way to the tax office, Moise bumps into Mendel Kravitz, who tells him that dressed in this way he looks like a rascal, and that the tax officer would immediately suspect something. Moise is very confused. So he goes to visit Rabbi Nasbaum. The rabbi is out, but his wife lets Moise into the house "What is your trouble?" she asks, and Moshe tells her his story. Aha! She replies at the end of the tale, "This reminds me of when I was about to get married. I could not decide whether to wear a white night dress and look like a virgin, or a black one and look experienced and seductive. So I asked my grandmother for advice." "Ah," cries Moise, "and what did she say?" "Well," says the rabbi's wife, "she told me it does not matter what you wear, you will get fucked anyway."